Hello, it's Bonnie and Claudia with Wit and Wisdom, and we are comfy on her couch. And we want to talk about how you process grief, the loss of a loved one.
Right. And you asked me earlier if how I cried as a child. Is that what you said?
Yeah, so first of all, we were talking about the difference between the way some people express their emotions in grief and others seem a little more
Hard-hearted.
yeah. And I was like, gosh, sometimes
Stoic,
I think I'm
maybe.
hard-hearted. So then I thought, I wonder if that's a learned thing from my childhood. Did I cry much?
And I said, I don't remember.
So I think I had a hard time crying as a kid.
Really?
I mean, as I grew up, maybe we didn't show our emotions a lot in my family, or it wasn't safe. I'm sure I cried when I fell down and things like that, but
Yeah.
so, but crying is part of grieving.
Yes, that's good.
Exactly.
To say
So the reason I wanted to
Jesus wept.
Jesus wept.
Yeah.
If it's okay.
Didn't he weep at Lazarus' funeral?
It's not a question. Yes, he did.
He was grieving.
He was grieving, and he was feeling with Mary and Martha, who were grieving. And so, yes, it's very natural to go through lots of emotions. But yeah, so talk about the passing of your precious Dave and how how did you survive that? How did you process? I mean, I'm sure it wasn't always the same, but yeah,
Right.
there's so many
I was
people going
older,
through it.
so I can remember this. But it's been almost 10 years since
Wow.
that happened.
So now you might even have more wisdom.
Really.
Or maybe
And
you forgot it.
Do you know time goes so quickly? It's just amazing. So these events are like blips in your life after a while. And I heard yesterday that time speeds up the older you get.
In your perception, not in reality, right?
Well,
I don't know. That's a physics. That's a Bruce question.
yeah. So anyway, when something is unexpected, like maybe a car wreck or a death by illness that you didn't expect, it's a different process. I'm sure because you're not
preparing in any way.
Yes, that's right.
And
that's how it was with Dave.
It was
because we did not expect
no.
that he was going to go to heaven, and he hadn't been feeling well and so forth. But it seemed like a parasite thing because he had had parasites before, and the symptoms that he was experiencing were the same as when he had had the parasites before, and he had received a natural cure.
Parasites are a big deal. So what are the symptoms? What was he experiencing?
Tiredness, inability to eat, wanting to sleep a lot, and just struggling to be active.
Right.
And so he had done a men's conference, and this was Saturday night, and he came home, and I could see he was really weak and tired. And I said, Dave, I think maybe you should stay home tomorrow. And he said, I think so too, which was
for him was huge. Yeah.
Yes, he wanted to be there in the middle of everything.
I am a person to be in the action.
Yeah. I'm happy to stay home.
That
once in a while.
Different.
So anyway, that night he fell, hit his head, and I knew we had to have some help. And we took him to the hospital, and I said, test for parasites. And do you know he was there from Sunday night to Friday morning, and they never got it done. Every day, oh, this excuse, oh, that excuse.
Or we have to test for this, or they just had their own idea.
And then they did all these tests, and they'd starve him in between. He couldn't drink water, couldn't eat food, and that's not how you help someone get well.
Right.
Yeah. And so we went through all of that, but still, he was jovial. He was, I heard the doctor say one day, as they made the rounds, because my 4 daughters and I were there every morning, and we had a list of questions to ask them. And I heard the doctor say, that man in there is very sick, but you wouldn't know it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because of his attitude.
Right. His
Uh-huh.
attitude
Yeah.
was so good. He's joking with the nurses and so forth. So he died Friday morning, and we all had been called because he was crashing, and we were devastated, especially the younger children. Just, and it's hard to talk about. So you see, you still have a type of grief, but, and I find that every time I talk about it,
Yes.
I can pull up the emotions, not on
Yes.
purpose,
Uh-huh.
but it
They're
happens.
there.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're there. And so I had to decide after talking to Dave in his bed, and they were still working on him, the whole team, and his eyes were rolled back already. And when he heard me come in, he got his eyes to focus, and he tried to talk, but I just told him, thank you for being such a great husband and father and grandfather, and if you want to stay, we'll fight for you. If you'd rather go, we'll release you. And as soon as he heard that, he left.
Mm.
And someone came and they said, well, we're going to try to raise him from the dead. And I remember Julie saying, well, he's not coming back. He chose to go. He's not going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
And it was true. He didn't. And so just handling it was being confident of the fact that he wasn't dead.
That
He had passed into a new life.
Yes, he was not
Dead. Yeah.
Death is.
Yeah, it was hard for all of us left behind,
Yes.
but we knew it was glorious for him. And so we
Yes.
rejoiced in that.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to think of his best rather than ours. And
that's a key.
it is.
right there.
It is.
Because honestly, you do miss.
Of
You know, there's a
course.
reality that you need to go through, but the way out of that slough of despond, say,
Yeah,
is to think about where he is
Right.
and what he's experiencing.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it was glorious for him
Mm-hmm.
and hard for us. But this life is like a vapor. It's like a blade of grass, green today, here today, and gone tomorrow.
And 10
And
years.
it's for all of us. Yeah, 10
Yes.
years. And now I'm 86 years old. And so I don't have that many years left myself. And I just say every once in a while, I think, well, God, if now's the time, it's fine with me. But we don't grieve as those without hope.
Yes.
We have such great hope that you can't stay in grief for very long.
That is really precious. It
Yeah.
is true. We as believers grieve
Yes.
differently.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
We do.
So we're at 8 minutes already. So let's do part 2. Stay tuned.
Well, we can go to 10.
Okay.
All right, so say some more.
Do you want to talk about what helped you just press on and not just
Yeah.
retreat and
Yes.
become passive? That might be a whole nother
right.
session.
Well, it was that I knew I had purpose,
Mhm.
that I would continue on with what I knew to do,
Mhm.
because Dave and I operated as a team,
Mhm.
and I did administrative parts, and if we talked together, I would be the one who would write down the notes
Mhm.
and get the outline and so forth, and he would add in the fun things.
Mhm. And you knew
I
that you
knew
had a
that I
purpose
still had that.
apart
Yeah,
from him.
right.
That's what I think women need to know. You have a
Yes.
call, you have a purpose apart from your partner,
That's right. And you know,
and
there's
vice versa.
there's a whole sect in India, and when I was there, I heard this, and it still was happening, that when a woman became a widow, she was considered worthless. She no longer had purpose, so they would build a pyre on a wooden plank or something and build a fire and put the live widow on that and push her out to sea, and she would burn to death. And they still do that because they think a woman without her husband is worthless.
That's grieving without hope.
Yes,
Okay.
it is. It
Let's
is.
go.
But
Let's
you know
talk
what?
about-
They do
yeah.
give her drugs when
Oh.
she's still alive.
They
I
still
think
murder
they're
her.
so merciful.
Okay,
But-
let's talk about how to renew your purpose
Yes,
in the grieving process.
and we'll do that next
Next time. Thank you.